Renovation of the Nora Elementary Center and Monongahela Elementary Center. The administration recommends that the board approve a motion authorizing and directing the administration and the school district's architects to take all necessary action to begin the process of renovating the former Nora Elementary Center for the purpose of utilizing this building as a 5th and 6th grade building within the scope of the work as presented by the superintendent, and further authorizing and directing the administration and the school district's architects to take all necessary action to begin the process of renovating the former Monongahela Elementary Center for the purpose of utilizing this building as a 7th and 8th grade building, also within the scope of the work as presented by the superintendent. So moved.
Motion by Mr. Morrow,
Second.
second by Mr. Bob Smith. Discussion?
Well, first I have a letter that I would like to read from Ms. McCarroll, which will just take a few minutes, and I promise that my comments as well will be brief. To the public, please understand that due to having been asked to be a guest speaker at a major function with the Boy Scouts of America, I could not be in attendance tonight. I did request that the meeting be rescheduled, but I guess my request was not a favorable one. Having read what is on tonight's agenda and not being able to attend the meeting to vote, I would like to at least go on record with a written statement concerning the items pertaining to the renovation of DEC and MEC. According to the agenda items, it's easy to understand that nothing has changed as far as what direction others on the board are determined to take our school district. No matter how many grades you may be shifting around and reconfiguring, the bottom line is that the board majority is still trying to put lipstick on a pig. It has been no secret as to my opposing position on the issues renovating and reopening MEC and DEC, especially when the renovations to these two schools are not going to meet or exceed today's building codes and standards. Maybe others are satisfied with allowing their children and grandchildren to spend many hours a day in a building like that, but I am not. As you may recall, I currently have 2 daughters that attended RMS this past school year and one that will be attending next year. Both my wife and I are in agreement that should these non-code compliant renovations be done, we will be exercising our rights as responsible parents and seek other educational alternatives for our daughter. Further, I would like to request that an explanation be given to the public as why spending 10 to 15 million on non-code compliant renovations on 2 older buildings would give us 5 to 10 years is considered to be more frugal than spending approximately $250,000 on one school to get that same amount of time. This is not being financially responsible. I have been opposed to this course of action thus far and will continue to oppose it for the above facts, along with other facts that for some reason others have chosen to continue to ignore, even when they come from senior professionals. I guess what it boils down to is the facts just don't matter. Thank you, Chris Carroll. I will point out to everyone that he wrote this to me earlier in the day and obviously didn't have any idea about the presentation that was made tonight. That being said, I also am going to vote no on this tonight, and primarily for this reason. This is the first time I have seen this proposal. The scope of work that has been provided is really just an outline. I have not been given any cost data other than about $24 million, and I can't compare that at all to the architect's analysis of what it would take in the bare bones minimum, as well as the full renovation of the schools. I am pleased that we're, moved the ante up on these 2 schools to, put substantially more work on them if that's the direction we're going to go, but it's still fiscally responsible to analyze the data and to make that kind of decision that affects this school district for 30 years, as Mr. Smith pointed out to me. when we were talking about how long the buildings would last, seems to justify a little bit more than 15 minutes. I'd also like to point out that I was trying to give a hug to Mr. Ravasio. I heard somebody say that the cost of building a new middle school was $80 million. And I cornered Mr. Brewer over there on that and asked him, and he said, no, it was $31 million that he looked at it today. So we're about to spend $24 million, and by their own account analysis today, we're going to spend $348,000 more per year in operating costs, which amounts to about $10 million more over the 30-year period. So I'm really not a math genius, but 24 plus 10 and a half exceeds the cost of a new school. Now that's pretty simplistic, and you know, I just think we need to have time to see these numbers in front of them, to diagnose it. Maybe this is the right decision. As I said a while back, you know, maybe if we'd have started out on this block, we would have had a 9-0 vote to do this, but without having that stuff, we can't. And finally, you know, I just see this place, when we sit there and we hear these comments about people moving out, and then people trying to counter that, it doesn't matter, somebody else will move in, you know, farmland. I mean, what kind of vision is that for a school district? What kind of vision is that for this area? As collectively, with our 7 communities, we have more clout in Washington County, and we're not using it at all, because we're not a community, we're 7 communities. There's no vision here to this, and I would want more time to analyze this before I would say yes or no. So, I'm done.
Thank you. Call roll, Betty.
Oh,
Mr. Kennedy?
so humorous.
Yes.
Mr. Morrow?
Yes.
Mr. Robert Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Stein?
No.
Mrs. Wolfcott?
Yes.
Mrs. Clement?
Yes.
And Mr. Charles?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1.